YouTube, we are banning Poplar again because the ban list did not come again, but there'll be a ban list that surely will fix every issue with Snake Eyes this week. Hopefully. With that said, Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
What the heck's a boo-boo game? During the damage calculation of a monster battles, you take no damage from that battle. Okay, what else does the boo-boo game do? It'd be nice if Konami did not close the screen of reading a card before an animation, please. If this set card is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can target up to 2 normal traps in your graveyard and set them to your field. They can be activated this turn. We got the Ptolemy, the Apollo, IP Masquerina, Torpedo Dragon. We have a Veiler. We have the full armored Exige Trap, which will be able to summon from the extra deck a full armored Dark Knight Lancer, which looks very cool. And all the disruptions we have is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 7 disruption against a trap deck. What the heck is this? During your opponent's turn, if you take battle damage, you special summon this card, and then you can gain life points equal to the battle damage or inflict the damage to your opponent. All right, let's go. Set 4 back row pass. Within the main phase, we are going to Ptolemy go into a Pallades. Pallades could spin any card in the field back to the hand. The Altaran is going to be triggered, reborning itself onto the field, activating to pop 1 card in the field, taking out the Morella. Now we have the IP Masquerina linking up with the Altaran to go into an SP Little Knight. On summon, banish a card on the field. That is our second copy of SP Little Knight. Double banish, and we also have the Tornado Dragon. And just like that, we take this into game 2. Nambiri, what are you playing? Pot of D, randomly banishing 10 off of the deck to draw 2. Oh my gosh, Ceasefire's banished out the wazoo. We have a nasty burn deck here. Gravedigger Trap Hole, able to negate hand traps and engrave effects. We got Red Reboot in our trap deck, interestingly. Now, within main phase 1, we're going to Morella send from the deck a boo-boo game. All right, we're not doing anything else from that. Are we doing a full burn? What's going on? Set Reboot and pass. is Reboot to counter Reboot? What's going on here? Why does a burn deck play Reboot? Okay, what are we afraid of? Hello, Nambiri. I guess Nambiri needs a face-up monster to use Ring of Destruction on. We actually passing back and forth. LS knows to just do nothing against a burn deck, and that's going to be the way. If we have no way to activate our back row cards, we're bricked. And if LS knows that, then I guess you take this duel to time, and then it is decided who wins in game 3. Do you really want to go into time against a burn deck? This is not a good situation. We are passing back and forth, speeding this up. Nambiri waiting for one of the back row traps to activate. We're going to activate it right now. We're going to activate the Secret Blast, chain Morella to it, and then the Gravedigger Trap Hole is going to negate the Max C. And we're also burning for 2,000 damage, right? Negate the effect. If you do, burn for 2k. Secret Blast is burning for how much? 300 to your opponent for each card they control. As they're continually setting up cards on the field, they may not be making plays, but they just burnt for some more damage. As the Secret Barrel has a similar effect. It's 200 for each card in their hand and for what they control. So Secret Barrel and Secret Blast. When the heck did this card come out? We are going in with the unaffected for monster effects. Morella wiping out that effect Veiler. Now the barrel and the blast do a little bit less damage now. Sakitama performing an additional normal summon here. Secret Blast, burn for 1,800 for every card on the field as we then make a Constellar Caduceus. We're going to be activating our Moonlit Chill on its summon. Call by the Grave, Finger the Chill. Are we going to Ring of Destruction? Yes, we are. Burn for 2,500 for both players. We're going to Secret Barrel, burn both players, 200 for burn for both players on the Ring of Destruction. That is 1,800. Lethal with the Ring of Destruction, 2,500 for game. Now, the Ring of Destruction says you can't activate it if it would be for game. But you activate it, then chain another card to then make the Ring of Destruction burn for game. So that is the way to get around that restriction. Very well done. Back in my day, it didn't have any restrictions. It was simply pop a monster, burn both players. And I believe we were playing Secret Barrel behind the door. which would reflect damage that you would take. So you would Ring of Destruction on a 2k monster with the barrel behind the door. That's 4k to their face. About 20 years ago. 1-1. Let's go. Sakitama additionally summoning alongside our Sage. Pot of Prosperity, digging deep, banish from the extra deck. Ooh, Lava Golem, that's gonna be great. Lava Golem, take out the Tornado Dragon, stop it from popping our back row. That's exactly what we're grabbing, 100% off the top of the deck. We're gonna preempt our Maxi to draw off of that Lava Golem summon, set 3 back row pass. Ptolemy is going to be exceeding into a Pallades. Pallades will be able to spin one of the back row cards back. One of them is a bluff. The Pot of D wants to be spun back. The Altaran popping the wrong card here. People always go for the middle. As we then return back the Ring of the Destruction, thus we only have Gravedigger Trap Hole left. Now, the Mahama, the Fairy Dragon, is going to be able to, after taking battle damage, gain life points equal to the damage we took, or if the opponent is low on life, we're going to be able to burn them for game. 5,000, is that enough? Do we summon burn for 2,500, or do we gain life? Mahama, the Fairy Dragon, activating the damage step because the Apollo USA has the effect to negate an activation, thus it could activate within the damage step, negating the summon, no hand trap for you. And should we have Lava Golem, the Apollo USA? Maybe that was the mistake. But if we left up the Masquerena would have gone into an SP Little Knight, banishing our other back row card, but the Apollo is negating both our Mahamas. What the heck? One Little Knight versus double Mahama being negated, and just like that, with our very own Lava Golem being used against us, Burn has not won a match within the tournament. Special summoning our Fenrir. We did not max C in the draw phase, which also plays around a potential triple tactics talent, but then also plays into a Gamma, so you have to weigh the pros and cons with that early max C. As we then summon our Raisin Reveal to activate and trigger our Jiao Long to special summon. We're going to use our Caesar Valius to also special summon itself onto the field before the Maxi resolves, which has the ability to quick effect pop a card on the field. And that poppage would be on the King Sark. Yeah, so King Sark, they activate, discard a card, then you chain pop it. But they have a way to grab another King Sark. We are also playing some Crystal Beasts in this deck, interestingly. Ooh, we have Light and Darkness Dragon. You love to see it. It has the effect to negate anything. They activate something, it's a negate. It is a mandatory negate. We have the Mausoleum of the Emperor to normal summon the Light and Darkness Dragon without tributing. Let's do it. I'm excited for this. We have the Walls of the Imperial Tomb, which counts as a King Sark, searching for the Aim Seti. We're going to be returning back into the deck the Rainbow Dragon. King Sark is ready, discarding the Aim Seti to send from the deck a Happy. Now, we have to think about doing something right here, right now, because the horse cards have the ability of, if one of our other cards leave the field while they are on the field, they're going to start triggering like crazy. The Aim Seti is going to send a card on the field to the grave. The Happy is going to return the sent card back to our hand. So right now is when we got to do something. But the problem is there's 2 King Sarks in the field. So both King Sarks are allowing the in-grave monsters to reborn. We're going to use the Vanquisher Soul, Vanquisher, Rock of the Vanquisher to summon into the same column of Pantera, which is going to wipe out that same column. But we did not follow up with the Caesar wiping out the field spell before the Aim Seti gets reborn from the grave. And now there's a Happy. So what are we doing with the Caesar? We have to reveal Earth, Fire, and Dark. What we have in the hand is Earth, Fire, and Dark. We have the play, we just didn't do it. We're going to exceed this up into a Dingirsu. On summon, send a card in the field to the grave, non-target sendage. Goodbye to the Fenrir. We're now going to replace the field spell with the Mausoleum. We're going to chain the Caesar Valius to reveal our 3 different attributes to get poppin'. Non-target poppage. Wipe out that field spell, but the Dingirsu has the additional secret effect of protecting a card in the field from destruction by detaching a material instead. Ain't no way. We're going to pay 2,000, summon a Light and Darkness Dragon. Now, what's really cool about this is it's kind of like an Apollo USA, but against all cards, and it's a mandatory activation. And when it's destroyed, it will target a monster in your graveyard, destroy all other cards you control to then reborn that monster. Let's go. So all I gotta do is activate anything. Activate once per chainmate. This will lose 500 attack and defense, and then the activation's negated. So we're going to be a mandatory trigger in response to that. We're going to chain the Caesar Valius to get Revealing and get Poppin' to wipe out that Light and Darkness. And if the Light and Darkness does not lose the attack and defense, it does not get to negate. But we were not even going for the Light and Darkness. We just allowed it. Had we popped the Light and Darkness, it would have not only negated, but it would have then activated to wipe out their entire own field. So did we screw up there by not wiping out the Light and Darkness Dragon? We have the Jiao Long being triggered from the hand, Light and Darkness, mandatory negates, get reducing mates. To battle we go. No, we're going to keep on activating Raisin in the same column as the Dingirsu. Now, the Dingirsu still has the effect of being able to protect the Light and Darkness Dragon from destruction. So there was that in place. We couldn't exactly take out the Light and Darkness Dragon. It's any card you control would be destroyed by battle card effect. You detach a material instead. So the Dingirsu giving some nice protection to the Light and Darkness Dragon as we're doing so right now. Protect. You are not going to destroy a column. You're not going to be wiping us out. Skill drain on the attack. Light and Darkness Dragon, even though it's not able to reduce by 500 in attack and defense, it is still going to be activating and then going back up to 2,800 attack. Thus, the Raisin dies to the skill drain. Now, how does negating a card and its attack and defenses work? If you are losing or gaining attack and defense and it's only applying to the card itself and you use an effect veiler, it's going to wipe away the reduction or a boost. So something like an access code talker, that's how you would know it's only benefiting itself, thus the effect veiler will make it lose the boost. Now, if a card like Giga Brilliant says boost itself and other cards, if other cards are included, an effect veiler after the effect is applied is not gonna lose the boost. So that's how you know. Does it apply to other people or just itself? And just like that, Raisin is now gone. Still big enough to take out the Light and Darkness Dragon. Now, despite the skill drain being face up, it's still going to activate in the graveyard to wipe out the skill drain. Goodbye to everything. Skill drain is gone. Trigger reborn from the grave. Happy. We got the Pantera activating here. This card cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. Okay, we have the Magna Hut now banishing to come forth and summon to wipe out that Happy Horus. As we then 17k to the 1700, that is, Waylay Davy now having no good follow-up plays, but Horus is known for a really good follow-up. All they need is a King Sark and they get to reborn that Happy from the grave. Lava Golem instead, just like that, Vanquish Soul taking a game 1 victory against Horus Stun. Max C preemptively in that draw phase. We have the King Sark, which is activatable up to 4 times in 1 turn. Got the Mausoleum summoning a Light and Darkness Dragon, then passing. Interestingly, not making plays with the King Sark. We're choosing for the King Sark to be used on the next turn, I guess. Okay. What now? What now? We have the equip onto the Light and Darkness. Mandatory activate to negate the activation. All right. Thus it goes to the grave. We have the Vanquish Soul Raisin, again, Light and Darkness, negate, and it's just once per chain. Now, the Pot of E is not activatable anymore. It had to be the first card we activate within our main phase 1. We're going to be revealing Light and Darkness again, negate. We have 1 more negate left on that Light and Darkness Dragon. But it's now reduced down to 1,300, thus the Raisin could very easily just swing right on over it. Light and Darkness Dragon, even though there's no other monster in the graveyard to reborn, it still wipes out the field. As we then main phase 2 this up into a Rock of the Vanquisher, activating to add back the Raisin in the graveyard back to our hand, as we will then, during the main phase of the next turn, be able to quick effect summon that Raisin onto the field. Keldo is here. Keldo is a really good discard for the King Sark, as we then send from the deck nothing as the Ash Blossom negates. Now, Ash is not good against King Sark because we could just activate it again, up to 4 times, keep on discarding. This is why you're going to need a card like Ghost Ogre if this were to be popular enough. We're going to send Happy, Reborn Happy, Keldo, activate preemptively, returning the Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon back in the deck so we could use Foolish Burial Goods to send from the deck a Rainbow Bridge to then banish and search for 2 cards. We're going to grab a Field Spell and the Crystal Beast we returned back into our deck. Now we could discard that Crystal Beast, sending from the deck, and I'm setting. We're going to be activating the Rock of the Vanquisher right here, right now to summon a Raisin. Raisin on summon, searching for the Jiao Long, activating the Raisin to now wipe out the column of the Happy and our own card. But so Whoa, whoops. Okay, so the King Sark says your monsters could not be destroyed by card effects that do not target them. So we non-target, destroy the column, which is in the same column as our own Link, and just like that, it's dead. All right, and Happy is unaffected. Reborn from the graveyard, I'm Seti. King Sark discarding a card to send from the deck. A third horse card to now be reborning at 3,600 attack. I believe it gains 100 attack. It's 1,200 per horse you control. Okay, very nice. Main phase 2 it up into a Photon Lord with a monster negates. Nicely done. Let's get to it. We're going to Pot of E, go for that easy draw 2. We can also be searching for a Fenrir here. Fenrir come to me, or Unicorn instead. Unicorn is now here as we then normal summon our Mad Love. Mad Love is going to be negated by the Photon Lord. It is a negate and not destroy. Negate the effect, not the activation. Just like that, the Photon Lord is no more. Now, the Unicorn's going to be triggering, looking at that extra deck banishing from it a Zeus, as the Unicorn then searches for a Theosis. Theosis will lock us into Xyz only, so we're not going to be able to link into our Rock of the Vanquisher as we then summon a Fenrir from the deck, activating to search for a Kashtira Riseheart. Riseheart special summoning. How much Kashtira do we have in the extra deck here? What are we doing? Banishing for the extra deck to come forth and make a Dark Armed Dragon Annihilation. We're going to detach a material, banish in the grave, and pop a card in the field, taking out the Happy since we targeted it. The King Sark is not protecting it. Now, the Theosis being banished is going to be triggering to add a Banished Birth back to our hand, reborning our Fenrir from the grave that we detached off of the Dark Armed, as you then wipe out the Photon Lord with over 10,000 damage on the field. Fenrir on the attack, banishing the King Sark from the field, and just like that, lethal damage. The Dark Arm cannot attack, so we had game even without the Dark Armed attacking. Very well done.